Well, once we begin there, guys, Brian here at 3TR, here to bring you another awesome movie review. This time I'm giving you my initial thoughts on the newest installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, simply titled Doctor Strange. Now, I'm not going to really go too depth into this review because I don't really have too many things to say because it's a pretty straightforward film and a fantastic film at that. Now, I'm going to go with starters saying the direction this movie goes is absolutely phenomenal. I don't know how they were able to pull off some of these scenes, but they were very well handled. I think that the entire cast, class. Without question, beginning to end, everyone did a fantastic job. I don't think there was a single actor or actress throughout this film that was half-assing any of their performances. I think that Benedict Cumberbatch was the perfect choice to play Stephen Strange, and he performed all of his scenes magnificently. I think that his character progression from being like this kind of cocky neurosurgeon to becoming not quite the Sorcerer Supreme by the end of the film, I think was very well handled. I think they went as far as an origin story as one could go without spoiling a bit too much of the character and leaving us with nothing to want to know more about the character in future films. I think that the action scenes were absolutely phenomenal, and it really plays into the best element of the film itself, and that are its visuals. Now, for those of you that don't know, Christopher Nolan's Inception is without question my favorite movie of all time. Better than The Dark Knight, Terminator 2, Toy Story 3, it is king. And the visuals are really what enhanced my experience of watching this film. Now, I can happily say that they took those visual elements and cranked it to like an 11. Because the fact that I know that some of the effects in this movie are practical, the fact that they were actually able to make CGI visuals, but make it look so practical was incredible. I think that the visuals department that worked on this movie need an award because these are without question the best visuals I've ever seen in a film, and that really helps enhance the action scenes. The use of manipulating dimensions and the use of gravity and affecting the environment was just phenomenal. It was something I had never really seen before, and I think that audiences are really going to appreciate just how much work went into this film. I think my favorite action scene happened in a hospital where Doctor Strange is fighting this one person, but he's fighting him on the astral plane, and I think it's kind of comedic how it affected the real world because from one specific character's perspective, they couldn't see anything, but just things around them were moving, and I thought it was just kind of hilarious. If there's any main error that I have with this film, there's only two issues, but I think that moving forward, unless Marvel does something, this is going to be a problem that we're going to have to endure with all future Marvel films going forward because it's starting to affect it now, and now I'm starting to feel it. And that is, I think this movie is a bit too formulaic to the Marvel Cinematic formula. All of these movies have beats that constantly repeat from movie to movie, and it's just getting to the point where, despite the fact that we are now in a new setting, because as apart from some past Marvel films where it's a little bit more practical, we're now dealing with magical elements, it still feels like it hits those same beats, and now I'm starting to feel it and kind of get bored of it. Another problem that I have with the film is the villain. I'm not saying that the villain was bad. I think the actor did the best he could with what he was given, but I don't think he was given enough presence to really be memorable. And there's even a secondary, bigger baddie that doesn't really have much time in the film, but with how much of a threat that he was supposed to be, I didn't find him really all that impressive. And I think it's just sad that villains that are on the Netflix series, Marvel series, are far better than anything we've seen in the films because they're given more time, they're given much more development, and therefore they have much greater presence. As opposed to all these Marvel villains outside of Loki, they're kind of just one and done. And therefore you don't really care or feel them as much of a threat because you just know they'll probably end up dying or losing and we're going to move on to the next one. And I'm just worried that since we're spending so much time building up to this Infinity War movie with Thanos, I'm afraid that it's not going to live up to the hype because this movie does take the time to kind of establish the use of one of the Infinity Stones, this time the Time Gem, and showing how impressively powerful it is. I'm just a bit curious that all of this buildup is going to lead to something quite disappointing. I don't think the Infinity War movie coming up is going to be able to live up to all this buildup that we've been doing all over the course of these films. Now, one last thing I would like to state is that if you have a chance, if you have the money to, I would highly suggest that you see this movie in 3D. Now, I was fortunate enough to see this movie in IMAX 3D, and while I'm not sure if you need to go that far, I think that if you don't see this movie in 3D, you're really not going to get the sense of depth that the visuals actually add to the environment and the an atmosphere itself. I think that if you see it in 2D, you just won't be able to appreciate it as much. Again, I'm not sure if you need to see it in IMAX 3D as I did, but definitely check it out in 3D. I'll definitely be seeing this 2 or 3 more times to see if I missed anything. I think that the end credits scene I thought was a little bit funny. I think it obviously leads into the next Marvel film, maybe. But overall, I thought that Doctor Strange was just a great addition. It just has a lot of the same problems that we've come to expect. I really think that Marvel needs to get their act together and fix them. Otherwise, the next few films just won't be as good. If I had to give Doctor Strange a rating, I'm going to give it an A-. Again, the only thing that holds us back is, again, another weak villain and it just being a bit too predictable and formulaic. If they can fix those errors, then we can have some truly amazing films moving forward. But that's just my greatest fear. If you like my movie review, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check out my future movie and video game reviews. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you next time.